I think it's time we go to the Montreal Canadiens.
I mean, they okay. Well, so I want to give a shout out to Madame Beliveau. Of course, the wife of the late great Jean Beliveau, probably one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. She was at the game. She goes to a lot of Habs games, as she does. And she stayed till the end of that game. Now, Alex, I've never left a game early because I don't believe in it. But the Habs lost 8-1, as I may have mentioned, to the Boston Bruins. And Eric Engels saw her. This is the tweet from Eric Engels. Just crossed paths with Madame Elise Beliveau on staying through the end of the 8-1. She said, "Toujours jusqu'à bout." That translates to always until the end. Now, Rachel Doré has said she's an angel living amongst us. That's coming from an angel that is Rachel Doré. I have never been more certain that her or Mr. Beliveau are Canadian royalty. We've always said, Alex, that I think it's been a thing that it was Johnny Bower, Ted Lindsay, and Jean Beliveau have been the three good guys of like the history of the game. Now, I bring that up because that's about the only good thing that's happened to the Habs in the past week. I mean, I can go through a few things. So this losing streak started against the Devils, and the worst hockey game I've probably ever watched. So I'm hoping tonight when they play New Jersey again is going to be like Lord of the Rings. That, let's say this losing streak is the ring of power, that throwing it back into Mount Doom to where it was once forged will be the end of it and will break the curse. Exit the slump where it started. That's where I'm hoping everything is going to go tonight. First of all, how dare they put her through that? How dare they put such a lovely woman through that mess of a game? How dare they give Carey Price the Bronx cheer? Carey Price has said this is not obviously the first time this has happened, nor will it ever be the last. 112 games since Carey Price was pulled last. Now, do you want to know what happened the last time Michel Therrien pulled Carey Price?
Did he look at the owner and say, "This is my last game in a Habs jersey"?
No, he didn't, thankfully, but Michel Therrien was gone by the end of the year.
Okay.
Now, Marc Bergevin is in Chicago doing so. Maybe he's going to go get Andrew Shaw back. I have no freaking clue. Coach Julian has made no line changes. Victor Mete and Max Domi are joking around about fighting. Back when I was playing for London, Dale Hunter said I couldn't fight. They are joking and smiling like nothing has happened. Like they didn't just allow 13 goals in 2 games. I don't understand why everyone is so happy. Oh, great. Marc Bergevin's going to talk to Alex Romanov in Russia. Like he's not going to be here till next year. Oh, the Habs are looking to make a trade. Oh, they have so much cap space and assets. It's been like that for the past half a century. So not half century, half decade. Half decade it's been like this, and nothing has been done. So I don't know what you want me to say. It's a mess. It has nothing to do with Jonathan Drouin being gone. Jonathan Drouin is not Mark Stone. He's not a two-way player. Paul Byron is not that either. So I don't understand why everyone is saying, "Oh, we're missing these two guys," when they don't contribute defensively. That's really the problem.
Right. The reason I asked you that last episode was because we had a conversation. Now I don't remember if it was on the podcast or if it was separately. We were talking about the Marner injury, and I said that's a pretty big injury for the Leafs, and you said that you thought the Drouin injury could potentially be a bigger injury, or Drouin and Byron injury could be a bigger injury for the Canadiens, because unlike the Leafs, you get your scoring from everyone, right? Yes. You don't get your score. It's not condensed to 4 or 5 players. So that's why I asked you that last episode when we were talking about Drouin and Byron being injured. I wanted to know if that could potentially be something. And I'm guessing based on your response right now that that's not the case.
If they were having trouble scoring, I would say so. If the power play was an issue, which it is, I would say so. Now, the reason I just say it is because you have Mike Riley and Charles Hudon working it when Victor Mete is not doing anything. It is not Paul Byron and Jonathan Drew, and they're the reason that you allow 8 goals. There is more to it than that, and I don't know why they are smiling about it. I have no answers.
But hasn't has the power play and penalty kill not been a problem for a while?
The power play was, of course, the reason they didn't make the playoffs last year. But this year, it has been good. Now, there have been some finishing issues because the Montreal Canadiens don't have one, but it wasn't an issue why they were losing. The penalty kill was at the start of the year, but has drastically improved.
Okay. So what's the problem? Because I look at, okay, so let me just pull up Carey Price's number here. I'm not blaming Carey Price. No, I'm not blaming Carey Price. I'm looking at, I have both the goalies up right now. Keith Kincaid is 1-1-2, and Carey Price is 10-7-3. Mm-hmm. Now that doesn't really mean anything, but Carey Price has a 900 save percentage and a goals against a GAA of just above 3.
Yes.
Keith Kincaid, 877 save percentage, goals against average above 4.
Yes.
So where are the problems coming from?
So, in regards to the goalies, I've been very adamant that Keith Kincaid's numbers don't reflect his play because the Habs just don't like to play well in front of him. And the game when he played against New Jersey, he was fantastic. Now, at the start of the year, Carey Price's numbers have not looked good all year. And at the start of the year, Paul Byron said himself, if it wasn't Carey Price, these 3-4 goals would turn into 6-7 goals. Now, I know that before the show started, Andrew Berkshire put out a tweet talking about Price's performance and the defense in front of him. I haven't got to read it yet, but from an outsider looking in, this team has not been good defensively in front of him. I go into the fetal position when the puck is in Montreal's own zone, and they just fall apart.
So you said something interesting there. You said Paul Byron said that if it wasn't for Carey Price, we'd be letting in 5 or 6 goals rather than 3 or 4.
Yes.
So is it they can't outscore their problems?
They were, but I think I said it before last episode, I believe. There were a lot of comeback wins. And
now it's come back to bite them in the ass.
It has. The worst part was they were winning games they weren't supposed to, but the problem was it wasn't at the end of a slump. Now they started losing games they were supposed to win, and it's put everything into a rack.
Okay, so next steps are what?
They need to come out and kick New Jersey's ass. They seem to be like they're not in low spirits, which is it pissing me off? Yes, but at the same time, at least they don't hate each other. This is a team that's gotten along very, very well over the past few years. So the next step is, first of all, you need to make Alex. I can't be this stupid that you've just lost 8-1 and there haven't been any line changes. Like, I've never coached, I've never played, but there's some part of me that if you're on a 5-game losing streak, you should change something. And I don't think I'm crazy in thinking that 2 AHL normals shouldn't be running your power play. I can't be that thick.
So, but that's not. We were talking about coaching before. Now, do you think it comes down to, like we talked about Toronto? We said Mike Babcock basically has control of it, or had control of everything. Mm-hmm. Is that the case in Montreal? Like, those 2 assistant coaches are there to help Julian, but Julian's running the power play and penalty kill.
See, I don't think that's the case, because Claude Julien only got involved in the penalty kill when it was going sour, and he seemed to have fixed it. The power play, I have no clue if he's gotten involved. I don't think so, because I've only been seeing Kirk Muller do all the work. And I'm going to be clear. It's not like Claude Julien has ever been afraid to make a change during a game or like mix up his lines. He's doing it all year. It's just he stopped doing it in the middle of a 5-game skid. So are there coaching problems? The power play right now seems to be the biggest problem. And also for some reason, you know how we answer back from being scored on? 4th liners. So it's just like Claude Julien has just seemed to stop doing his normal thing, and I don't get it. I'm not saying fire Claude. I know how good a coach he is. He's not Babcock stubborn, but I just don't know what's going through his mind right now.
Okay, so we know that from a coach and player standpoint, the next step are to, number one, make changes, and number two, play better. What do you see in their game over the last, what you said, 5 games?
Mm-hmm.
What do you see in their game over the last 5 games that hasn't impressed you, or something that's changed from the previous games?
See, you know what's weird? Remember they had that spurt where they couldn't stop allowing goals in the last minute?
Yes.
It stopped for a bit during the stretch and a bit before the losing streak started. It came up again against the Bruins game, but that game is just everything that could go wrong in a nutshell, right? So it seemed to me they were improving for stuff. And I'm trying to think back on every game now. I think the big problem for them has been complacency, and we talked about this. So I think the big thing is they need to get motivated again. They're a team that's a grunt team and needs to work on it. A big thing was during the Rangers game on the power play, they had no one in front of the net. Now I don't need to tell you much about this team to tell you that Brendan Gallagher lives there, right?
Right.
What's changed is I think they've started to step away. Maybe it's because of the lack of Jonathan Drouin. They're all trying to use something special. They've stepped away from the identity of their grunts go to the net.
Okay. But is there something that, because it seems like something just needs to click with the players. Mm-hmm. And I would argue that's the coach's job, as well as the players. But if the players can't do it themselves, then the coaches need to do something. Is there something that management can do? Are there steps that management can take to fix this process, or to fix this slump? Or just genuinely improve the team? See,
I think... So the big trades that I don't think they're going to make a big move. Unless Taylor Hall becomes a realistic thing here. Until I hear Friedman or Merrick talk about Montreal having a chance of grabbing him, then I'm not going to count that as a thing. Do I think there needs to be a deal overall? Yeah, I do. I don't think it needs to be getting the biggest fish, but I've talked about they need that left-handed defenseman. The problem is I realized this the other day. I said that they need a finisher and they need a left-handed D. So the big thing people would think about, all right, so trade for Shane Gostisbehere, trade for Taylor Hall. The big problem, and it's a big, really, really big issue for Montreal, is a left-handed defenseman, okay, Alex Romanov, a finisher, Cole Caulfield. They're guys that are going to be ready in a year or two, but with Weber and Price, you have to go now. Now, management? I think this is a bold strategy, and it may be really dumb. But if I'm them and I'm getting really sick and tired of what's going on with this team, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? This team is built on its youth. Hello, Jake Evans. Hello, Ryan Poehling. Come up here. Thompson. Hey, KK, you haven't been good. Doby, get off. You're on the wing. You're at the bottom 6. And you just inject those younger guys and teach the vets on this case who are only like 24, 25. Listen, dickheads, you're not going to get away with this any longer. Unleash the youngins. Let's cause some chaos. Maybe there needs to be more breath or fresh air into this lineup, and maybe it comes with a Jake Evans or a Ryan Poehling, who they weren't giving the time to before, but I think they need to try and do it now.
Okay, so you mentioned the finisher. What if how long until Jonathan Drouin comes back?
Another month at least. No, more than a month.
So you wait a month, there's your finisher.
No, John, see, the big criticism is Montreal haven't had an elite scorer in a while, and Jonathan Drouin could be a top-line player, but he is not Nathan McKinnon. Oh, that's a bit high. He's not a Taylor Hall. And you don't, are they willing to pay the price to get that superstar, right?
Well, if the price is like that, I think a team like Montreal could. What did I say before? A first-round pick and a prospect?
Which they do have an ample supply of.
Right. If that's the price, I don't know what prospect they're asking for. Like, let's say Marc Bergevin called and said, okay, we'll give you first and prospect. What prospect is New Jersey asking for? Because that changes the entire question. That changes the entire answer for Bergevin.
See, if they wanted a defensive prospect, I know Montreal wouldn't want. Quickly, before I answer that, I know you were asking about a trade thing, and normally Bergevin doesn't do the big trade moves, but you are right. If this price is as low as New Jersey are willing to do it, Bergevin, he could do it. So it would either be, if they want an NHL-ready defenseman, it's Victor Mete or it's Cale Fleury, right? Or they try and go the route of, all right, this guy may not be ready now, but he will be, and that's Josh Brook, who was a finalist for Defenseman of the Year in the WHL last year. Or if they wanted a forward prospect, maybe you do throw in Ryan Poehling because of the emergence of Nick Suzuki, Max Domi, Phil Deneau, and Jesperi Kotkaniemi down the middle. And then Montreal have a second. They have a bunch of fourths. You could throw something in there. I think if there is a team that have the cap space and the assets to outbid another team to get Taylor Hall, it is Montreal. I'm just trying to be careful not to get my hopes up. And at the same time, would Bergevin do it is the only question. Because he was going to get Duchesne, but he didn't want to give up a Juleson or a Sherback. So it has to be a question of, is Bergevin willing to pull the trigger?
Right.
Which, I mean, he's done it in the past.
Yeah. Yes, he has. Is Taylor Hall someone who's a rental, or is he someone you look at re-signing?
See, if it's only the price that New Jersey are wanting, then I would live with him being a rental, but at the same time, once you get him, you want him, right?